This is the third episode. We talked about planning, filming, and now it's all about editing. Are you excited? I'm excited because editing is my favorite part of making YouTube videos. So, let's get straight to the question. First and foremost, what editing software do you use? And any advice on how to choose the editing software?
For visual effects and motion graphics, I use Blender, which is an open source software for 3D creation. I love how it's for free but still can compete with overpriced alternatives commonly used in industry like, for example, Maya or 3ds Max. For Final Cut and arrangement, I use Adobe Premiere, which is not for free unfortunately, but I think that a decent video clipping and editing software is elementary, and for me, Premiere is just that.
I use Adobe Premiere Pro, which you can see back here, and my suggestion to anyone that is a student at a university is that you can get this at a significant discount. So I would just jump into a Pro Edition editor and learn that from the get-go.
The editing software that I use is called Adobe Premiere Pro CS 5.5. I don't know if it's pronounced Adobe or Adobe. I am a terrible video maker. I personally chose this because this is the program that I was taught how to use in high school because we did a video editing term. It is quite pricey and I'm sure there are much cheaper options available, but that's just what I like to use because it's the one I know how to use.
I really love Sony Vegas, so I would recommend it. So far what I can tell you about Sony Vegas is that it works really well.
I use Final Cut Pro. I chose it because it worked well with my MacBook and it also offers more than iMovie.
Never, ever, ever, ever use Windows Movie Maker or Apple iMovie. Those two are the farts of editing software, especially Movie Maker. iMovie is a little bit better, but it's still... Those are I know they're free, but they're so... They kill quality when they compress stuff, and I'm like... No, I'm not sure if iMovie does that, but I wouldn't recommend those at all.
I gave up on that advice because budget reasons, because everybody has a program that you need to spend money on, and unfortunately I don't have said money. I just use Windows Movie Maker because it's free, basic, and it's foolproof. True, it doesn't have a lot of things that I can do with it, but in my current situation and with the type of videos that I'm doing right now, it doesn't really matter.
I use Windows Movie Maker. Yeah, it's really basic.
Good old Movie Maker.
For my editing software, I use Febriana by Wondershare, and I really like it because it's like an easier to use version of iMovie.
And there's a lot of video editing programs out there for you guys to choose from, free or more expensive. I've found that the really expensive ones are generally really nice. And there's more stuff you can play around with, but it's not always necessary. Start with the default program that your computer comes with first, and then if you're really like wanting to get into this YouTube thing, then you can invest in something more. But otherwise, honestly, the base programs provide you with everything that you need to be successful.
You gotta pick something that you know you'll work with easily, something that would make editing fun for you, because that's the most difficult and time-consuming part of making YouTube videos. If it's something that would give you problems, then you're going to hate the whole YouTube video making process, and we don't want that. We want to see you smiling so that people can love your videos.
Yep, I totally agree. You have to choose something that you can enjoy and you can play around with. If it's something that crashes all the time, obviously don't use that. Choose something else. I suggest you to download a trial version of a premium software before you decide to buy it. If it's something that you like, if it's something that you can navigate easily, then choose that. If it's not, then look out for something else. There are also a lot of open source software that you can download for free. Next, how long does it take you guys to edit your videos?
If I'm doing just a regular weekly video, nothing extravagant, it could take me anywhere between 3 to 6 hours to edit a 6-minute video. If I'm doing a collaboration with many other YouTubers, it could take me anywhere upward between 6 to 12 hours of editing.
I tend to spend most of my time on editing, so I'll devote an entire Saturday for about 8 hours or so editing my video for that next week, and then I'll finish up on Sunday with whatever needs to be done.
I'd like to start editing one day and then I get tired of it, I get to walk away from it, and I get to come back to it and finish it the second day, because I kind of see that by the end of my editing, I'm over it, I'm tired, I want it to be done. So I ideally like to give myself 2 days, so when I get to that point, I can just be like, alright Daniel, you're done for the day, let's come back to this tomorrow.
I try to space it out as well, otherwise I will drive myself crazy, because just work gets in the way and all that, because usually when I'm editing, it's before work or it's after work.
Editing is something that is the most time-consuming part of this, so filming will take maybe 10 minutes. Editing a 5-minute video from a 10-minute video will be about a 2-hour process or so.
If it's like a DIY video where I have to do voiceovers and just kind of different effects in the video, then that means I have to spend a little bit more time on that, which could take probably 4 to 8 hours. It depends on the video, and if it's a short film or just some kind of music video related thing, it will take a couple of days.
I run a series on my channel called Small Tubers Talk, in which I have 18 YouTubers giving me all of their clips and opinions in a format very similar to this video, and that will take me probably about 2 days to edit.
I consider my editing style to be CGI intense, which is not always good, to be honest. But when it comes to clipping, I like to set my jump cuts quick so there is hardly any pausing in between.
We start off instantly with an introduction. We'll explain very quickly what we're looking to do, and then we'll start doing it. We may put a bumper in there somewhere, which is a little title screen with our name on. So it comes up hitting 1 million. Sometimes we won't.
In my editing style, I try to do lots of jump cuts in ways that sell the joke and then jump to the next thing really quickly, so that there's no awkward pause and awkward silence. It's just a heavy flow that always like keeps the viewer entertained.
I go for jump cuts. Those are like the best transitions for YouTube, I'd say. So honestly, unless you're doing like one of those type videos where like as a fade out is needed, avoid that at all costs. Go for jump cuts.
Mostly cutting out the ums, because there's a lot of those and you don't see those. I try to make sure that when I'm editing my videos, I try to get rid of any filler words like and, but, you know, those kinds of filler words, so I can make the videos as short as possible.
I love using music for one thing, so if I can make a joke out of music, I'll add that, or like adding a picture or just whatever I'm capable of doing, I'll edit that way. But otherwise, I'm very straightforward with my editing.
If I'm filming a cover video, it's usually a matter of syncing up the audio and the video, and then splitting at the ends of the clip where I click the record button.
First I put everything in there, then I sync the audio with the video because I have different audio from my microphone, and then I just cut the pieces and look at the script and just paste it all together. Then afterwards I put in music and I put in like color grading if needed and stuff like that. However, if I'm editing a sketch, this is a new thing I'm going to be doing. I open a second sequence, which is basically a second timeline, which you can do in Adobe Premiere, and I'm putting bloopers in there so I can, after I render my main video, I can render a blooper video for the second channel.
When it comes to editing, the first thing I do is I import all of my footage into the program, and then I just kind of chuck it all on the timeline. First I change the contrast and the brightness settings to kind of get it looking the way I want it to look, and then I kind of just cut out the bits I don't like, leave the bits I like, mash it all together, add my intro and my end slate, add some music, and it's done.
Something that I learned from Sarah is that when you do collabs like this, it's important to divide each part. In this series, there are 4 episodes, and in each episode there are 5 questions. So in the very first stage of editing, I cut down everyone's clip down to the questions, and then I take notes of what they say in the clip, and then I put them in a logical order. After all of that is done, I mash everything together, and I start filming after I have finished with everybody else's part, so I know exactly what to say. I know how to connect this part to other parts. Also, every time I finish editing a part of the video, for example, question number 1 for the first episode, and then I see that I missed 0.1 seconds out of the original clip, and it messes with the whole flow of the whole video, I have to start everything all over again, so that's why it takes a long time. Next question, do you have any problems while editing, and how do you overcome it?
The biggest problem I could ever face while editing is not pressing save while I'm editing.
I occasionally have corruption in the file, and honestly, there is no way to overcome that. You just have to start all over again. The struggle is real. Although, to be fair, I do save every time I make a cut.
Whenever it crashes, and you lose all the footage that you just worked on for the last 3 hours, and how I overcome that is basically just learning my lesson and hitting save after every clip that I place on that bar.
The biggest problem with editing for me is that I get really antsy and excited, and I want the video to be published so everybody can see it, and I have a tendency to rush the editing, so I have to take a step back and remind myself that it'll be out there, take your time and really enjoy the process.
My mentality is, what you screw up during filming, you can still fix through editing. However, filming properly is also important, so don't get me wrong. Oh yeah, and if you're doing a bigger collab with many participants like this one, you better be prepared for some jerks who don't send you their clips in time.
Gulliver, you're only a few days late. It's okay. I have a premium software, but my computer is very slow. Rendering a 15-minute video takes forever. Luckily, Armin, being the wonderful man that he is, offered for help. He basically have an access to my channel. So Armin, when I die, please maintain my channel. I also have a very slow internet, so it's going to be a problem for me to upload stuff also. So thank you. Last question for this episode. Do you have any other advice about editing?
My additional advice for editing is to not underestimate its importance. When you're done recording a video, you can still change it so much just through editing and make it better that way.
Sometimes even 1/10 of a second can make a difference between a boring video and a good one.
The most important part is making sure you get to the point you want to make, whatever that is, whether it's a joke, whether it's an entire skit, whether it's a vlog and you're talking about an important message. If you want to get to that message as quickly as you can. So for ourselves, we do comedy, so what we want to try and do is minimise the intros, minimise the talking around it, so we can get into the funny as quickly as we can.
When editing, I would recommend that you keep your jump cuts very quick and concise, because if there's too much of a gap between what you're saying, it kind of helps people kind of click off easier. If it's nice and quick, concise, it goes, then it all flows together, people are more likely to stay engaged and interested, it's just a whole lot better. I would definitely recommend you have some royalty-free background music in your videos, because to me it does help to add that extra layer of keeping me interested.
You need to find it fun in order to keep doing it, or you need to be like super efficient in stuff. Learn the hotkeys. For example, in Premiere you have like a lot of hotkeys, just random letters on the keyboard that give you another tool or give you another thing to use, and that speeds up your work process massively.
My advice for whatever software it is that you use, find some tutorials on it, because I can guarantee you that if you are using a piece of software that you have paid for, you're probably not getting your money's worth out of it.
YouTube tutorials are the best thing ever. It was something that in my head seemed so complicated and so impossible to do, but watching that tutorial I was just like, oh, it's just a couple of clicks and then that's it. And it was just beyond amazing.
Make sure you have a very good quality video before you really think about what you want to do with the editing.
Editing is all about taking a good recording and making it an even better recording. It is not going to fix any issue that you had when you were recording your video. Do not try to do that.
Editing is a very fun process to do. My most favorite part of making YouTube videos is editing. My least favorite part is filming, because I make a lot of mistakes, like I do now, but you don't see it because I edit those out. You have to find ways to make it fun. Also, this is something new that I do with my friends. Before you upload a video, you can send the video to your friends, to your YouTube friends, ask them for reviews and ask them for suggestions. It's a really fun thing to do, so you don't, get stuck in a tunnel vision and, be open-minded to perspective and things like that. That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed and you find it helpful. Thank you so much for everybody participating in this video. As usual, their links will be in the description also at the end of this video. Make sure to come back next week because we are going to talk about promoting. You excited? No? Are you tired of sub for sub? Me too. And we are going to talk about that in the next video, so be sure to subscribe to be notified when that video will come up. And thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.
Jesus Christ, seriously? Yay, the washing machine stopped spinning. Now it's going to beep. Oh, good.
Unless you know a Nigerian or Slovenian or Bosnian prince, you should all take the advice of my fellow YouTube fans. Shh, it's an inside joke.